God's chosen ones. Before heaven makes you world famous, enjoy the silence. Have you ever poured your whole heart into a dream, only to feel it dissolve into the dust before your very eyes? Have you ever stood in the middle of your journey, surrounded by nothing but silence, and wondered if heaven itself had turned its face away from you? Have you ever felt like you were shouting into a void so vast, so endless, that even your own echo refused to return? There is a darkness that not everyone speaks of, a desert where the sun scorches not just your skin, but your soul. It's not the kind of darkness you can escape by flipping a switch. It is the wilderness of purpose, the lonely expanse between the promise and the fulfillment. And right now, if you are honest with yourself, you may be walking through it. Picture it. A barren land, cracked and silent under a heavy sky. The air is thick, the earth is dry, and every step you take feels like dragging a boulder behind your back. You scan the horizon, searching for a sign, a voice, a miracle, but there is only wind, whispering doubts into your ears. Your prayers feel like they evaporate before reaching the heavens. Your hope flickers like a dying flame caught in an unyielding storm. And yet, there's something inside you that refuses to be extinguished, isn't there? Something ancient, something sacred, something the darkness cannot reach. Maybe you've wondered, if I am chosen, why does it feel like I have been forgotten? Maybe you've asked, if there is a divine calling over my life, why does every door seem bolted shut? Maybe you've thought, if I carry heaven's fire, why do I feel so cold and abandoned in this world? The silence you are standing in is not your grave, it is your forge. The question is, will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? Let us begin. Have you ever wondered why silence hurts the loudest? The silence you are living through right now is not a punishment. It is not a cruel cosmic joke. It is not abandonment. It is a sacred forge, hidden from the eyes of the impatient, reserved for those destined to carry something eternal. The world may have turned its face away, but heaven has turned its hands upon you, shaping you in the quiet, in the places no one applauds. Imagine a seed buried beneath the ground. In the damp, oppressive darkness of the soil, no one sees it. No one praises its slow, unseen labor. No one notices the agony of its shell cracking, the silent scream of its roots clawing through the dirt, desperate for anchorage. Above the surface, the world assumes nothing is happening. But underground, a transformation is taking place that will one day break through the earth with unstoppable force. The silence is not death. It is gestation. Or think of steel, raw and unrefined, plunged into the furnace. The fire is merciless, relentless, burning away every impurity until what is left is not weakness, but strength. Without the fire, the steel remains brittle, susceptible to breaking under pressure. It is only through the violence of the flames that steel learns to endure. And you, chosen one, are no different. Heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is tempering you, forging you for the battle and the blessings that your destiny demands you to carry. In the secret chambers of the earth, even diamonds are born. They do not emerge from comfort, applause, or shallow light. They form under crushing weight and unimaginable heat, buried so deep beneath the surface that for centuries they are forgotten, unseen, dismissed. But when the earth finally releases them, they are the most indestructible force of beauty known to man. And so are you becoming, pressed, crushed, hidden, yet destined to emerge with a brilliance that no counterfeit can replicate. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him, says Psalm 37:7. It is in the stillness, not in the noise, that greatness takes root. It is in the sacred pause, not in the frantic pursuit, that destiny sharpens its edges. Right now, you may be craving answers. You may be pounding on heaven's gates, demanding movement, aching for a sign, any sign that your voice has been heard. But the silence itself is the sign. It is the proof that heaven has moved you from the audience to the battlefield. It is the proof that your anointing is too precious to be rushed, too weighty to be handed out casually. Heaven doesn't throw diamonds into the streets. It hides them, protects them, polishes them in obscurity until the appointed time. Ask yourself, why would heaven waste time refining what it has no intention of revealing? Why would God place you in a season of stripping, testing, burning if you were meant for mediocrity? He wouldn't. The silence is your confirmation. The darkness is your validation. You are being prepared for something so sacred, so heavy with destiny, that to unleash you prematurely would be a betrayal, not a blessing. And preparation is not pretty. It is brutal. It is lonely. It is stripping you of every false identity you once clung to. It is burning away the need to be understood, admired, validated. It is silencing the applause you once thought you needed in order to breathe. It is severing your addiction to approval, because when your true moment comes, when heaven thrusts you into the places you were born to influence, there will be no time to crave reassurance. You must be anchored so deeply in your identity that no amount of praise can inflate you and no amount of criticism can crush you. In the wilderness, Moses was stripped of his princely robes. In the silence of exile, David learned to sling stones before he ever held a crown. In the forgotten prison, Joseph's dream was refined from naive ambition to sacred mission. Every chosen one has walked through this silence, and not a single one regretted the fire that refined them. The testing of your faith produces perseverance, James 1:3 reminds us. It does not say the reward of your faith or the applause of your faith. It is the testing, the grinding, the stretching, the silent nights of wondering if you have been abandoned that births perseverance. And perseverance is the spine of destiny. You are not invisible. You are incubating. You are not being punished. You are being purified. And purification is painful, but it is purposeful. It strips you of every counterfeit comfort, every shallow dependency, every illusion of control, until all that is left is the unshakable core of who you truly are. In this silence, heaven is asking you a question. Will you trust the process you cannot see? Will you believe that seeds grow before they bloom? Will you endure the furnace without cursing the fire? Will you submit to the crushing, knowing that diamonds are formed in pressure, not comfort? If you can answer yes, even through your tears, even through your confusion, even through the aching loneliness that sometimes feels unbearable, you are closer to breakthrough than you can imagine. Silence is not the absence of movement, it is the acceleration of purpose beneath the surface. It is the sacred choreography of heaven arranging every unseen piece of your destiny into place. So do not despise the silence. Do not rush out of the darkness before your roots are deep enough to hold the weight of your future. Do not curse the quiet. It is heaven's secret workshop, where masterpieces are sculpted, far from the fickle eyes of the crowd. Soon the silence will break. Soon the ground that seemed so barren will tremble under the force of your becoming. Soon the furnace that seemed so cruel will reveal the sword you have become. But not yet. Not until heaven declares you ready. And when that day comes, you won't just rise, you will erupt. You won't just be seen, you will be undeniable. You won't just influence, you will transform. But for now, chosen one, breathe, rest, submit to the sacred silence. It is not here to bury you, it is here to build you into something the world has never seen before. This silence is not your prison, it is your preparation. Hold fast. Heaven is not silent because it has forgotten you. Heaven is silent because it is forging you. Heaven hid you to heal you. The isolation you are enduring right now is not a punishment, nor is it a cruel twist of fate designed to humiliate you. It is a sacred quarantine, a divine strategy designed to protect you from energies that your eyes cannot see, but your spirit can feel. Just as a hospital isolates a patient battling infection, not to imprison them, but to heal them, heaven has drawn a sacred circle around your life, not to keep you from the world, but to keep the world from poisoning what heaven is building inside you. In a hospital, when a patient's immune system is fragile, when a disease threatens to undo the healing work taking place inside the body, doctors enforce strict protocols of separation. They seal off the room, they scrub every surface, they monitor every breath, because even one careless exposure could sabotage months of progress. It is not cruelty, it is fierce, intentional love. And that is exactly what heaven is doing with you. The energies swirling in the world right now are not neutral. They are like toxic smog, invisible yet heavy, seeping into hearts and poisoning dreams. The gossip, the envy, the silent competitions that masquerade as friendships, the shallow applause masking hidden resentment, all of it hangs in the atmosphere like an unseen virus, waiting for a host naive enough to inhale it. And heaven, in its mercy, has pulled you out of reach. You may not have understood why the invitations dried up, why the calls stopped coming, why the rooms that once welcomed you now feel cold, even hostile. You may have thought you were losing your touch, losing your relevance, losing your momentum, but the truth is, you were gaining your immunity. You were being withdrawn from the battlefield not because you lost, but because heaven needed to treat your wounds without interference. Heaven needed to shield your spirit from airborne doubts, from contact with contaminated ambitions, from exposure to environments where you were celebrated outwardly but sabotaged inwardly. Imagine the poisonous clouds swirling in the atmosphere. Thick black plumes of jealousy, waves of fear disguised as advice, hidden daggers in words spoken with false smiles. Every handshake, every embrace, every conversation you once thought harmless carried particles of contamination, meant not to kill you instantly, but to erode your clarity, your confidence, your calling over time. Heaven saw what you could not. Heaven smelled what your human senses could not detect. And so heaven acted. Swiftly, without your permission, without full explanation. Because love that protects does not always pause to explain itself. The quarantine you find yourself in is not just a delay. It is a filter. It is a purification chamber. It is a place where the only voices you hear are the ones that matter. The whisper of the Holy Spirit, the murmur of your own true heart, the soft but steady pulse of the destiny written into your bones. Every other voice has been muted, every other opinion silenced, not because they were all evil, but because even a well-meaning voice carrying a subtle toxin can derail a chosen one not fully fortified. If you had remained exposed, if you had stayed tangled in the environments that once applauded your potential but secretly feared your ascension, the toxins would have worked their way into your bloodstream. You would have found yourself second-guessing your vision, diluting your fire to make others comfortable, watering down your assignment to fit into rooms too small for your destiny. You would have become infected, not with visible sickness, but with invisible self-doubt. You would have begun to shrink to survive, rather than expand to fulfill. Heaven could not risk it. You are carrying something too rare, too precious, too volatile in its brilliance to be casually displayed or carelessly exposed. Heaven needed you hidden, not because you were weak, but because you were still volatile, still shaping, still solidifying into something unstoppable. Exposing you too early would have been like unveiling a masterpiece before the final brushstroke had dried, like releasing a medicine before its healing properties had been fully activated. So heaven sealed you away, like a potter hides his finest vessel while it is still in the kiln. Not to punish you, to protect the fire, to protect the integrity of what is being formed inside you, to make sure that when you do emerge, you are not just beautiful to look at, but unbreakable under pressure. You may feel like you are missing out. You may look at others moving, building, achieving, and feel the ache of being left behind. But what you do not see are the cracks forming in their foundations. What you do not hear are the hairline fractures already splitting under the surface, because they were rushed into exposure without enduring the sacred silence, without surviving the holy quarantine. Trust the separation, trust the loneliness, trust the pulling away, trust the closed doors, trust even the betrayals, the misunderstandings, the rejections. They are not signs of failure. They are confirmations of your calling. The darker the isolation, the greater the revelation being prepared for you. The deeper the silence, the more explosive the sound that will soon be released through your life. It is in this isolation that you are being immunized against the toxic applause that will come later. It is here, in the silence, that you are learning how to breathe pure air again, the air of heaven, not the recycled fumes of broken systems. It is here that you are learning to discern between flattery and true affirmation, between temporary hype and eternal honor. There will come a day when heaven removes the veil. There will come a moment when the doors swing open, not with the timid creak of human timing, but with the thunderous roar of divine appointment. And when that day comes, you will not just walk into your future. You will carry an atmosphere so clean, so potent, so pure, that the very rooms you enter will be forced to change or flee. But that day is not today. Today is for trust. Today is for surrender. Today is for quiet, sacred insulation. You are not isolated because you are forgotten. You are isolated because you are favored. You are not hidden because you are broken. You are hidden because you are holy, and heaven will not expose what it has not first fortified. Hold your ground, chosen one. The quarantine is almost over, and when it ends, the world will not just see you, they will feel the atmosphere shift the moment you step into the room. Because you will not be carrying contamination, you will be carrying consecration. Will you keep building when no one claps? Do you still work hard when no one is watching? Do you still pour your soul into your calling when there is no applause, no awards, no validation echoing back to you? Can you stay true to the vision stitched into your spirit when every outward sign tempts you to quit? These are the questions heaven is asking you in this season of sacred silence. It is easy to move forward when the crowds are cheering. It is easy to feel powerful when every post you make is flooded with likes, when every step you take is met with recognition. But what about when the world falls silent? What about when your labor goes unseen, when your sacrifices are buried in obscurity, when your greatness feels like a secret only God remembers? Will you still show up? Will you still build when it feels like no one will ever notice the house you are constructing with your bare, bloodied hands? There is a reason heaven has hidden you in this season. It is not only protection, it is examination. It is testing the architecture of your soul to see whether you are building your life on applause or on assignment. It is stripping away the spectators to reveal the servant. It is removing the crowd to expose the craftsman. Consider Joseph, the dreamer, the favored son, the boy who once wore a robe of many colors. He had a vision burning in his heart, a promise whispered by God himself. Yet before that promise could live, Joseph had to be thrown into pits, sold into slavery, accused falsely, and locked behind the stone-cold walls of a prison cell. There in the damp silence, far from the gaze of a world that once admired him, Joseph faced the ultimate test. Would he still be faithful when the dream seemed dead? No more visions, no more applause, no more signs that he was special. Only chains, cold stone, and the slow erosion of days that blurred into years. Yet even in that prison, Joseph worked. Even in that prison, Joseph served. He interpreted the dreams of his fellow prisoners with the same excellence he would later bring before Pharaoh. He kept tending his gift, even when no one but God could see him. And that, chosen one, is what heaven is looking for in you now. It is not the gift itself that heaven tests. It is the heart that holds the gift. It is not the power you could wield, but the purity with which you will wield it. Heaven is not interested in how high you can climb on your own. Heaven is interested in how low you will bow when the crowds have left, when the lights are off, when the accolades are silent. Real value is built in the dark. True greatness is hammered out in the obscurity no one celebrates. It is in the hidden hours, the unseen labor, the midnight tears, that legacy is born. It is in the silence that your spirit is stripped down to its essential elements: faith without evidence, love without reciprocation, work without reward. Heaven needs to know that when the stage is empty, you will still sing. When the book is unpublished, you will still write. When the vision seems foolish, you will still build. Because if you can be faithful in the dark, you can be trusted in the light. If you can be loyal when it looks like no one is listening, you can be trusted when everyone is watching. Faithfulness without fame is what produces leaders who cannot be corrupted by fame. Obedience without outcome is what forges warriors who do not quit when the battlefield grows silent. Perseverance without praise is what shapes prophets who do not bow to the golden calves of popularity. Do not despise the days when it feels like your faith is fruitless. Do not curse the hours when your hands are bleeding from sowing seeds no one sees. Do not resent the silence that forces you to worship without witnesses. For it is in this season that heaven is weighing your spirit. It is in this barren place that heaven is planting roots that will one day sustain the towering tree of your destiny. Joseph's ascent to power did not begin the day Pharaoh called him from the dungeon. It began years earlier in the darkness, when Joseph chose to steward his gift even when it seemed to cost him everything and gain him nothing. That decision, made in the hidden place, echoed into eternity. It proved to heaven that Joseph could carry the weight of nations without losing his soul. And so it will be with you. The assignments heaven has reserved for you require a loyalty that is not conditional upon applause. The missions you will carry out demand a resilience that cannot be rented from public opinion. The call on your life insists on a depth that only the silence can excavate. So ask yourself again, do you still work hard when no one is clapping? Do you still believe when your prayers seem unanswered? Do you still sow when the soil feels barren and dry? Because these are the questions heaven is asking in the invisible hours, and the answers you live out in silence will determine the doors that heaven will open in public. Not every quiet season is a curse. Some are the divine setting of a foundation so deep, so unshakable, that when the storms of visibility come, and they will come, you will not only endure, you will thrive. Real kings are not crowned in palaces, they are forged in caves. Real queens are not built on thrones, they are refined in the fire no one sees. Real prophets are not anointed under spotlights, they are anointed in prisons, in deserts, in upper rooms where the only witness is God Himself. Hold steady, chosen one. Heaven is watching, not in judgment, but in hope. Hope that you will stay true. Hope that you will keep digging wells even when it feels like there is no water. Hope that you will keep singing in the darkness until the dawn comes. Because when it does come, and it will not come gently. It will come roaring. It will come breaking chains, shattering ceilings, setting captives free through the sound of your obedience. And when the world marvels at how quickly you rise, you will smile quietly, knowing it was never sudden. It was years in the making. It was forged in the lonely, painful, unseen nights when you chose to believe without evidence, to serve without reward, to build without applause. This is the sacred test of faithfulness. This is the holy proving ground. This is where kings and queens are born. The deeper the foundation, the higher the rise. The strength of any great building is not measured by what rises into the sky, but by what sinks deep into the ground. Long before a skyscraper ever kisses the clouds, long before its shimmering glass reflects the morning sun, an invisible, painstaking work takes place far beneath the earth. Before the first stone rises, the soil is broken, the ground is torn apart, trenches are dug deeper and deeper until the foundation can anchor the weight of what is yet to come. The higher the building is meant to rise, the deeper the foundation must be carved. Shallow roots cannot hold towering dreams. Surface-level strength will never sustain celestial callings. This is the truth heaven is teaching you now, in this season that feels so hidden, so lonely, so slow. Right now, heaven is not concerned with how quickly you can be seen. Heaven is concerned with how deeply you are anchored, because when the storms come, and they will come, it is not your charisma that will keep you standing. It is not your popularity. It is not even your talent. It is your foundation. The part of you no one applauds, the disciplines no one claps for, the prayers no one sees, the choices you make when no one is looking, that will decide whether you rise or fall. And so heaven is asking you, softly but relentlessly, what are you building beneath the surface of your life? What roots are you sending deep into the unseen soil? What habits are you cultivating when no one is praising you? What truths are you anchoring into your soul when the world offers only silence? Because it is easy to perform when eyes are watching. It is easy to polish your gifts for public display, but true greatness is hidden in the unseen choices. It is forged in the decisions you make in secret, the moments you choose forgiveness over bitterness, humility over pride, perseverance over convenience, truth over popularity. It is forged in the mornings you wake up with no applause and still choose excellence. It is carved in the nights you wrestle with doubt and still choose faith. It is cemented in the hours you spend studying, building, refining, not for the sake of being seen, but for the sake of being ready. Ask yourself now, not in shame but in sacred honesty, what am I building beneath the surface of my life? Am I constructing a fortress of faith that no storm can tear down? Or am I decorating a flimsy facade, hoping that no one notices the cracks until it's too late? Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you dig deeper. Every time you say no to shortcuts and yes to process, you strengthen your pillars. Every time you invest in character over clout, you lay another stone into the foundation of an unshakable life. Do not be fooled by the noise of the world. In a culture obsessed with instant gratification, with overnight success, with viral fame, true endurance is radical. True depth is revolutionary. True consistency is a rebellion against the shallow systems of this world. Most people want the skyscraper without the soil work. They want the crown without the cross. They want the influence without the intimacy, the platform without the process. But heaven builds differently. Heaven digs first, deeply and painfully, before heaven dares to lift you into visibility. Because heaven understands, what you build quickly collapses easily. What you build deeply endures eternally. You are not being delayed. You are being excavated. Heaven is digging through every layer of pride, insecurity, fear and impatience that could one day sabotage your calling. Heaven is not punishing you. Heaven is protecting the future lives you are called to impact. Every prayer you whisper into the void, every discipline you build in the dark, every temptation you overcome when no one is clapping, it all becomes rebar and steel within the walls of your soul. It all becomes part of the structure that will one day bear the unimaginable weight of your destiny. If you neglect the hidden work now, you will collapse later when the winds rise. But if you honor the hidden work now, no storm in hell will be able to topple what heaven is building through you. You are not just preparing for moments, you are preparing for movements. You are not just preparing for applause, you are preparing for authority, and authority is not handed out in crowded rooms. It is carved in caves, it is built in wildernesses, it is earned in silence. And you finally rise when your influence bursts into full bloom. No one will see the trenches you dug in the dark. They will see the beauty of your strength, the effortless grace of your stability, the quiet roar of your resilience. They will wonder how you withstood the storms that tore others apart. They will marvel at the solidity you carry in a world of flimsy facades, and you will know. You will remember the years of digging. You will remember the loneliness that forged your loyalty. You will remember the prayers that felt like they fell on deaf ears, but were actually watering your roots in the spirit. You will remember that you did not rise because you chased light. You rose because you were anchored in the unseen. So dig deep, chosen one. Do not grow weary in the hidden work. Do not despise the seasons of excavation. They are not punishment, they are prophecy. Heaven is not building a tent out of your life. Heaven is building a temple. And temples are not built in a day. Your strength is not being wasted. It is being woven. Your perseverance is not in vain. It is setting the bedrock for the generations you will one day influence. When you feel discouraged, when you feel unseen, when you feel like the digging will never end, lift your head and remember, you are not just building for today, you are building for eternity. And eternity is worth the wait. Eternity is worth the work. Eternity is worth the digging. Keep going. Your foundation is forming, and one day, when you rise, you will not just stand, you will soar. In the quiet, your true voice is waiting. In a world that never stops shouting, the greatest miracle is not the loudest voice, it is the stillest one. Every day, every hour, the noise of the world rises like a flood. Expectations, distractions, demands, opinions, all clamor for your attention, pulling at your mind, hijacking your focus, overwhelming your spirit. It is a symphony of static, and if you are not careful, it will drown out the very voice you most desperately need to hear. Inside of you, a voice speaks. It is not loud. It does not compete. It does not shove its way to the front of the line. It waits. It watches. It whispers. It is the voice of your soul, the divine breath of heaven stitched into your bones. And if you are to rise into the fullness of your destiny, you must learn to hear it above the roar of everything else. Hearing that sacred voice is like tuning a radio in a storm. You can have the most powerful receiver in the world, but if you are not on the right frequency, all you will pick up is static. No clarity, no guidance, just endless, grating noise that numbs your heart and clouds your mind. You are the radio. Your heart is the receiver. The frequency you need is not out there in the noise. It is hidden deep within you, waiting to be tuned in. But tuning requires something radical in a world obsessed with movement. Stillness. Only when you still your mind, when you silence the panic, when you mute the urgency of the external world, can you finally start to hear what has been speaking to you all along. Right now, if you will allow it, take a moment with me. Breathe in deep and slow. Hold it for a count of 3. Now breathe out, longer than you breathed in. Again. Breathe in the light. Hold it. Now breathe out the fear. Let the tension slide off your shoulders. Close your eyes if you can. Let the noise outside your body begin to fade into the background. Feel your feet anchored to the earth. Feel your chest rise and fall like the tides. And in the silence between your breaths, listen. Not to the world, not to your doubts, but to the still, ancient voice inside you. The one that has never lied, the one that has never abandoned you, the one that still calls you by your real name. This voice is not desperate, it is not frantic, it is not manipulative. It carries the weight of eternity and the gentleness of a whisper. It will not shout over your distractions. It waits for your surrender. The world will always shout louder. The world will always flash brighter. The world will always wave its hands frantically, demanding your attention, baiting your emotions, trying to pull you out of alignment. That is why you must master the art of tuning out the noise. Not because the noise will stop, but because you must rise above it. Most people live their entire lives at the mercy of external noise. They are tossed by trends, by opinions, by the next wave of fear, by the next demand for their attention. They wonder why they feel lost. They wonder why their hearts ache with confusion. It is because they have never learned to tune in to the one voice that matters most. And you, chosen one, are being taught something different. You are being trained to move by signal, not by static. You are being disciplined to wait for the whisper, not for the shouts. You are being invited into the deeper chambers of divine intimacy, where guidance flows not through chaos, but through clarity. This is why your silence has been so heavy. This is why your isolation has been so profound. It is not punishment. It is preparation. Heaven is fine-tuning your soul to hear what cannot be heard in the crowd. Heaven is training your spirit to catch the subtle shifts, the divine nudges, the sacred invitations that are missed by those who are addicted to noise. Because the next seasons of your life will not be navigated by public opinion polls. They will not be steered by applause. They will be mapped by the quiet convictions rising within you, the ones that only grow stronger in silence. Think about it. When you tune a radio, you must sometimes move slowly, carefully, adjusting just a hair's breadth at a time. Too fast and you miss it. Too rough and you create more distortion. It is a process of patience, sensitivity, and focus. And so it is with tuning your spirit to the voice of God. You cannot hear the sacred while sprinting after the shallow. You cannot catch the holy whispers while clinging to every chaotic headline. You must slow down. You must draw inward. You must trust that the most important frequency is already within you, and you only need to tune your heart to hear it. In this moment, heaven is not asking you to do more. Heaven is asking you to listen more, to trust the process of stillness, to believe that your life's greatest directions will not come in the thunder, but in the still, small voice after the storm. Just like Elijah, who stood trembling in a cave, battered by wind and earthquake and fire, but found the voice of God, not in the spectacle, but in the whisper. That same whisper is speaking to you now, not in the grand shows, not in the raging crowds, but in the sacred silence of your own surrendered heart. If you can master the art of listening now, you will move with precision when the time for movement comes. If you can hear in the quiet, you will never be lost in the noise. If you can follow the inner compass when no one else understands your direction, you will walk paths that others are too deaf to even notice. Do not be discouraged by the stillness. Do not resent the lack of noise. The greatest architects design in silence. The greatest warriors sharpen their swords in secret. The greatest leaders hear the call long before the world hears their name. So breathe again, chosen one. Breathe in faith, breathe out fear, breathe in clarity, breathe out confusion. Tune your soul like the sacred instrument it was always meant to be. And when the world grows loud again, and it will, you will not be shaken. You will not be moved by every shout. You will not be distracted by every glittering distraction, because you have learned something that most never will. The clearest guidance does not shout, it whispers, and those who are willing to be still long enough will hear it and rise. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. There is a sacred threshold you must cross on your journey, a line invisible to the world but unmissable to the soul. It is the moment you no longer need to be understood in order to keep walking forward. It is the moment when the approval of others, the need to be explained, to be justified, to be validated, falls away like broken chains at your feet. Because the truth is, if you are truly walking in a divine assignment, there will be seasons where the very people you thought would celebrate you will misunderstand you. Your silence will be called arrogance. Your focus will be labeled coldness. Your obedience to a higher calling will be misinterpreted as rebellion against human systems, and you must learn to let them think what they will and keep walking. Think of Jesus, the very embodiment of truth and love, misunderstood by the religious elite, betrayed by friends, crucified by the very ones he came to save. If perfection itself could be hated, twisted, accused, why would you expect your journey to be free from misunderstanding? Even as he healed the blind, lifted the broken, taught with unparalleled wisdom, the whispers never stopped. Who does he think he is? Blasphemer? Threat? But Jesus did not waste time chasing approval. He stayed on mission, eyes locked on the cross, heart anchored in the will of the Father. Think of Harriet Tubman, a woman who chose freedom when the world around her insisted on chains. Misunderstood by both friend and foe, doubted even by those she risked her life to save, she pressed on. She did not wait for applause. She did not pause to explain to every skeptic why she could hear the voice of destiny louder than the threats of death. She walked in sacred defiance, trusting that the invisible hand guiding her steps was more real than the visible fear around her. Think of Nelson Mandela, whose fight against apartheid led him to a prison cell, isolated for 27 years, called a terrorist by many who now build statues in his honor. Alone, misunderstood, forgotten by the world that once cheered his defiance, he chose not to become bitter. He chose to build inner freedom that no prison could take away. When he finally emerged, he did not seek revenge. He led a nation into healing. His understanding of his purpose was not rooted in how others saw him. It was rooted in how heaven had called him. And you, chosen one, are being called into that same sacred strength. You must make peace with being misunderstood. You must lay down the exhausting weapon of constant explanation. You must stop shrinking your spirit to fit into rooms too small for your calling. You must release the desire to be universally liked, universally approved, universally understood. Because the truth is, if you need everyone to understand your journey, you will delay your journey until the end of time. Some people are not meant to understand you. Some are not equipped to see what heaven has hidden in you. Some are too tied to the versions of you they met when you were still shrinking, still doubting, still hiding. Let them go. Let their misunderstandings stand like monuments to what they could not comprehend. Let their words fall to the ground without poisoning your spirit. Let their silence be a testament to the spaces you have outgrown. Your soul was not built to be explained. It was built to be expressed. Your calling was not crafted to be comfortable. It was designed to be catalytic. So when the whispers start, when the rumors swirl, when the subtle glances and shifting friendships start to sting, remember this. You are not called to clarify your every step to those who have not heard the whisper you are. You owe no one an apology for following where God leads. You owe no one a dissertation for your growth, your change, your evolution. You owe no one an explanation for why your spirit no longer fits into the containers they once built for you. Release them. Release the need to be invited. Release the need to be understood. Release the need to be applauded for walking in a direction that terrifies those still clinging to comfort. There is a deep, unshakable peace available to you right now, not when everyone claps for you, not when everyone agrees with you, but when you finally realize you don't need them to. The peace of the chosen is not found in being popular, it is found in being obedient. The joy of the anointed is not rooted in universal approval, it is rooted in unbreakable alignment. The strength of the called is not built on crowd control, it is built on covenant connection with the one who called them. So breathe, chosen one. Let the weight of needing to be understood fall off your shoulders like a heavy, rusted chain. Let the fear of being misread melt away. Let the temptation to water down your message for broader acceptance dry up and blow away in the wind. You are not crazy for hearing a call others cannot hear. You are not arrogant for believing a vision others cannot see. You are not rebellious for refusing to stay trapped in cycles that no longer fit the fire inside your bones. You are free, and freedom always comes at the cost of misunderstanding. You will lose some people, you will lose some rooms, you will lose some praise, but you will gain your soul. You will gain your alignment. You will gain the future that was always waiting for you on the other side of their approval. So do not slow down. Do not explain. Do not beg to be seen correctly. Be seen by heaven. Be understood by your Maker. Be loved by the few who recognize the sacred glow in your bones. And let the rest think what they will. Because in the end, it is not being understood that defines your worth. It is walking the path heaven carved for you, even when no one else sees it. And never forget this: being understood is a happiness, but walking the right path, even while misunderstood, is glory. The gates of destiny open like a flood. There is a moment approaching faster than you realize, a moment when the sky will tear open, when the ground beneath your feet will shudder, when everything that has been silent, everything that has been hidden, everything that has been patiently forming beneath the surface will burst forth like a river breaking through a dam. The gates of destiny are not opening gently. Think your neighbor. They are about to swing open like floodgates, releasing a torrent of purpose that no man, no system, no obstacle will be able to contain. And when that flood comes, it will not ask if you are ready. It will not pause for you to gather your courage. It will not slow down to match your pace. It will sweep you into motion at the speed of obedience, at the velocity of prophecy fulfilled. You will either be anchored and ready to ride the surge, or you will be swept away by the very momentum that was meant to elevate you. There will be no time to prepare once the storm arrives. Preparation is for now, right now, this very breath, this very moment, when the world still seems half asleep, when your name is still tucked safely in silence, when your hands are still calloused from building in the dark. This is the window, this is the forge, this is the critical ground where heaven is setting your roots deep enough to withstand the coming rush. Imagine a dam that has been holding back a mighty river. For years the pressure builds, unseen by the casual observer. The water is restless, pounding against the walls, demanding release. Engineers monitor the tension carefully, reinforcing every bolt, every seam, knowing that one day the gates must open, and when they do, it will be unstoppable. No force in heaven or earth will halt that surge once it begins. It will carve new paths, it will reshape landscapes, It will carry everything before it. That is your life right now. You feel the pressure, you feel the tension, you feel the invisible buildup in your chest, the restless whisper in your soul that something is coming, something massive, something undeniable. And you are right. You are standing on the cusp of a flood of destiny, a rushing river of opportunities, assignments, connections, divine setups that will crash into your world all at once. But heaven is sending a warning. Do not waste this silence. Do not squander these hidden days with distraction, laziness, or fear. Because once the flood starts, you will not have time to go back and fix what you neglected. You will not have time to fortify what you left vulnerable. You will not have time to wish you had dug your roots deeper. The time to be ready is not when the clouds burst. It is now. This is the hour of sharpening. This is the hour of fasting from fear. This is the hour of memorizing the sound of your own inner voice so deeply that no roar of the crowd, no storm of critics, no lightning flash of fame will shake your resolve. You must move now with the urgency of someone who knows the sky is about to split open. Strengthen your mind now. Anchor your spirit now. Harden your resolve now. Build your disciplines now. Clarify your motives now. Bury the word of God so deeply in your bones that when the winds howl, you do not flinch. Because when the gates open, it will not be time for hesitation, it will be time for motion. Relentless, fearless, unstoppable motion. The opportunities you have prayed for, the rooms you have dreamed of entering, the platforms you have secretly hoped for, they will open in rapid succession, without time for you to overthink, second-guess, or delay. You will either rise in the flood or drown in your own indecision. You will either recognize the moment or watch it rush past you, never to return. The doors will not stay open forever. Destiny does not wait for comfort. Heaven does not negotiate with hesitation. This is not a drill. This is the final call to readiness. Prepare your character to match your calling. Prepare your stamina to match your spotlight. Prepare your wisdom to match your influence, because elevation without preparation is destruction disguised as success. You are being warned not because heaven is angry with you, but because heaven believes in you. Heaven sees the weight of what is about to be placed on your shoulders and is giving you one last sacred space to solidify your foundation before the river comes roaring. You must be ready to flow with it, to build with it, to steward it wisely, not to be crushed under its force. The time for questioning is over. The time for preparing is here. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, not when you have more evidence. Now, in this holy, uncomfortable, urgent now. Your prayers have not been in vain. Your patience has not been wasted. Your preparation has not been ignored. Every seed you planted in tears will bloom in a downpour of favor. Every prayer you whispered in loneliness will echo in the halls you are about to walk through. Every sacrifice you made in secret will be honored in the light. But you must be ready. You must be fortified. You must be tuned in so deeply that when heaven says move, you move without fear, without apology, without delay. This is the urgency of the hour. Sharpen your sword, tighten your boots, steady your hands. The flood is forming, the ground is trembling, the gates are creaking open under the unbearable weight of all that heaven has stored up for you. When it comes, it will not be slow. When it comes, it will not be polite. When it comes, it will demand everything you have built in silence to come alive in motion. You are not waiting for a trickle, you are waiting for a tidal wave. You are not preparing for a drizzle, you are preparing for a storm that carries your name into realms you once only dreamed of. There will be no more warnings, No more gentle taps on the shoulder. Only the flood, and the ones who are ready will rise. The ones who have been hidden will be revealed. The ones who have been faithful in silence will be shouted into destiny. So breathe deep, anchor yourself, strengthen your core, because the flood is not coming to destroy you, it is coming to crown you. And when the gates of destiny open, may you be found not scrambling in regret, but sprinting in purpose. Ready or not, the gates are opening. You are the tsunami they never saw coming. You, chosen one, are not weak because you are quiet. You are not forgotten because you are unseen. You are not lost because you have not yet been celebrated. What the world mistakes for absence is actually accumulation. What they call delay is really depth. You are not empty. You are a tsunami gathering strength beneath the surface, silent, invisible, unstoppable. Tsunamis do not announce themselves with noise. They do not brag about the energy they are gathering. They do not seek approval from the surface waves that dance in the sunlight. They gather, they press, they build in the deep places where human eyes cannot see. And when they rise, when they finally reveal their full force, there is no force on earth that can withstand their impact. That is who you are becoming. Every silent prayer, every invisible battle, every choice to keep believing when logic screamed to quit. Every night you cried into the pillow and still woke up with your spirit fighting for one more inch forward. Every moment you gave love when bitterness seemed justified. Every time you chose hope over cynicism, faith over fear, calling over comfort. It has all been building beneath the surface, unseen, but you do not need to shout to announce your arrival. You do not need to market your greatness like a desperate vendor at a marketplace. True power does not need to scream. True power is magnetic. It draws destiny toward it with the silent, gravitational pull of authenticity. You will not have to chase the crowd. The crowd will find you. You will not have to fight for the microphone. The moment will seek you out. You will not have to scream your name. History itself will whisper it down the corridors of time. Because when you are truly chosen, you do not move like those who are guessing. You move like one who has been called. You walk with a weight the world cannot measure, and a grace it cannot manufacture. There is a sacred dignity in your silence right now, a holy patience that heaven itself is applauding. You are being formed in secret like molten steel in the furnace. You are being shaped in shadows, not because you are being overlooked, but because you are being protected from premature exposure. The surface waves are loud. They sparkle in the sun, they make the most noise, the most show, but when the pressure builds below, when the great unseen depths awaken, the surface waves vanish like mist. They are nothing compared to the force rising from below. You are that force. Your rise will not be a slow trickle. It will be a sudden surge. It will not be something that can be ignored. It will not ask for permission. It will not wait for applause. It will change landscapes. It will move mountains. It will break through barriers generations before you could not even touch. But this explosion of destiny will not come from something external. It will not be triggered by chance or favor or coincidence. It will come from within you. It is already forming. It is already swelling. It is already roaring silently in the chambers of your soul. Picture it now. Feel it rising. Feel the pressure that has been gathering with every heartbreak, every hidden hour of labor, every silent victory that no one clapped for. Feel the mass, the weight, the unstoppable gravity of everything you have been forging in the dark. It is not dormant. It is not dying. It is not waiting for valid. It is alive. And very soon it will no longer be contained. You must see it before anyone else sees it. You must believe it before anyone else believes it. You must honor it before anyone else even knows it exists. Because the crowd will come. the invitations will come, the recognition will come. But if you chase it now, you will dilute your power. If you beg for it now, you will cheapen your calling. If you try to force your eruption before the appointed time, you will tear apart the very foundation heaven has been laboring to build inside you. The greatest movements in history were birthed in silence. The greatest revolutions were whispered into existence before they ever roared across nations. The greatest breakthroughs were carried by those who refused to be defined by who was or was not watching. You are not small. You are strategic. You are not late. You are being led with strength invisible to shallow eyes. You are not forgotten. You are fortified. Every second of waiting, every minute of preparation, every hour of seeming obscurity is a sacred investment into the day when you will rise. Not like a wave crashing on the shore, but like a tsunami reshaping the coastline forever. Breathe into it. Own it, honor it. You are not becoming powerful, you already are. You are not waiting to be validated, you are being positioned to be undeniable. When the moment comes, and it will, you will not have to shout over the noise. You will be the sound the noise cannot drown out. You will be the frequency that cuts through the chaos. You will be the voice that doesn't echo, it originates, and the world will not be able to look away. Not because you demanded their attention, but because true presence demands recognition without begging for it. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is proof. The tension you sense is not rejection, it is readiness. The silence you endure is not abandonment, it is amplification. You are not a spark flickering for attention. You are an underground explosion gathering for an earth-shaking moment. And when you finally rise, you will not apologize for the flood you bring. You will not shrink to fit shallow waters. You will not dim to soothe fragile egos. You will expand. You will roar. You will reclaim every inch of ground heaven promised you. This is not ambition. This is alignment. This is not ego. This is obedience. This is not noise. This is destiny becoming undeniable. So walk boldly through this silence. Stand firm beneath the surface pressure. Refuse to doubt the surge that is forming within you, because very soon, the chosen ones who built in silence will rise like tsunamis no eye can deny, and you, beloved, are one of them. You did not find this by accident. Heaven has been calling your name. This moment is not ordinary. This moment is not random. This moment is a collision of destiny, a sacred invitation, a whisper from eternity that has traveled across time and space to find you right here, right now. You have heard the call in your spirit. You have felt the stirring in your chest. You have recognized the echo of something ancient, something holy, something fierce and tender, all at once awakening inside of you. You are not who you used to be. You are not asleep anymore. You are not lost, forgotten, overlooked. You are rising. You are remembered. You are chosen. And now the heavens are inviting you to step fully, boldly, undeniably into that reality. Not just in your heart, but with a declaration that breaks through the veil. If you feel the fire igniting inside you, if you know that the silence you have endured was never for your destruction, but for your preparation, then mark this moment. Seal it. Confirm it in the atmosphere. Comment 777 below as a sign that you have heard heaven's whisper and you are answering with a roar. 777. The number of divine completion, sacred awakening, the full circle of everything you have survived, overcome, and become. It is not for applause. It is not for validation. It is a covenant between your soul and your destiny. And if you know someone still walking through their silent season, someone still wrestling in the dark, someone still questioning if the silence means they are forgotten, Send them this message. Share this video like a torch into their night, because you never know. Your obedience could be the spark that keeps them moving toward the light. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. This is a movement of the chosen, a gathering of the ones who were forged in silence to lead with unshakable truth. You did not find this message by coincidence. You did not stumble here by accident. You were summoned, you were seen, you were called. And now, as you stand on the threshold of the life heaven has always intended for you, hear this. You did not arrive here by accident. Heaven has called your name.